Milo's adventure, from the sands to the emerald peaks. Milo stood at the edge of the desert, where the golden sands met a vast range of green, towering mountains. The contrast between the arid desert and the lush mountains was striking. Just hours ago, Milo had been exploring the mysterious singing dunes, their haunting melodies still echoing in his mind. But now, a new adventure beckoned him toward the majestic, emerald-hued mountains that rose like sentinels on the horizon. With a deep breath, Milo tightened his backpack and began his journey toward the mountains. The desert behind him seemed to sigh as if bidding him farewell, while the cool breeze from the mountains whispered a gentle welcome. Milo was eager to leave the heat of the desert behind and explore the vibrant greenery that lay ahead. The first part of the journey was a steep climb. The rocky terrain was challenging, but Milo's determination pushed him forward. As he ascended, the air grew cooler, and the scent of pine trees filled his senses. The sun's harsh rays softened as they filtered through the dense canopy of leaves above, creating a dappled pattern of light on the forest floor. Milo marveled at the transformation around him. The further he climbed, the more the landscape changed. The barren sand gave way to thick grass, wildflowers, and towering trees. Birds sang sweet melodies, and the sound of trickling streams replaced the silence of the desert. The mountains were alive with color and sound, a stark contrast to the quiet stillness of the dunes. As he continued his ascent, Milo encountered a series of waterfalls cascading down the mountainside. The crystal-clear water sparkled in the sunlight, creating rainbows in the mist. Milo paused to drink from one of the streams, feeling the cool, refreshing water revive him after his long journey through the desert. The mountains were filled with life, and every step brought a new discovery. After hours of climbing, Milo reached a high plateau, where the landscape opened up before him. From this vantage point, he could see for miles. The mountains stretched out in all directions, covered in a carpet of green that seemed to go on forever. In the distance, he could make out a lush valley nestled between two peaks, filled with trees and dotted with wildflowers. The sight took Milo's breath away. As he began to descend toward the valley, Milo noticed something unusual. The trees here were unlike any he had ever seen before. Their trunks were thick and gnarled, with leaves that shimmered in shades of emerald and gold. The ground beneath them was covered in a soft, mossy carpet that felt like walking on a cloud. It was as if the forest itself was enchanted. Milo's curiosity led him deeper into the forest. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers, and the sound of rustling leaves filled the air. The deeper he went, the more the forest seemed to come alive. Milo noticed small creatures peeking out from behind the trees, their eyes twinkling with curiosity. They were unlike any animals he had seen before, delicate and ethereal, almost as if they were made of the forest itself. As Milo explored the enchanted forest, he came across a small, crystal-clear pond surrounded by ancient trees. The water was so still that it reflected the sky above perfectly, creating an illusion of endless blue. Milo knelt by the pond, dipping his hand into the cool water. As he did, ripples spread across the surface, distorting the reflection and revealing something shimmering beneath the water. Milo leaned closer and saw what appeared to be a glowing stone lying at the bottom of the pond. The stone emitted a soft, pulsating light, casting a warm glow through the water. Without hesitation, Milo reached into the pond and retrieved the stone. As soon as his fingers closed around it, he felt a surge of energy coursing through his body. The stone was unlike anything Milo had ever seen. It was perfectly smooth, with a deep emerald hue that seemed to change color in the light. As Milo held it in his hand, he could feel its warmth spreading through him, filling him with a sense of peace and wonder. It was as if the stone was alive, pulsating with the same energy that flowed through the mountains. Milo knew that this stone was special, but he didn't know why. he carefully placed it in his backpack, deciding to continue his journey and see where it would lead him. As he made his way through the forest, he noticed that the creatures he had seen earlier were now following him at a distance, watching him with their bright, inquisitive eyes. The path through the forest led Milo to a hidden glade, where the trees formed a natural archway. Beyond the archway, the landscape changed once again. The forest gave way to a lush, green meadow filled with wildflowers and tall grass that swayed gently in the breeze. In the center of the meadow stood a large, ancient tree with a trunk so wide that it would take several people to encircle it. Milo felt drawn to the tree, as if it was calling to him. As he approached, he noticed that the tree's bark was covered in intricate carvings, symbols that seemed to tell a story. The carvings depicted scenes of the forest, the mountains, and the creatures that lived there. At the base of the tree was a small opening, just large enough for Milo to crawl through. Without hesitation, Milo entered the tree. Inside, he found himself in a small, circular chamber bathed in a soft, green light. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal, upon which rested a small, ornate box. The box was made of the same shimmering stone that Milo had found in the pond, and it was covered in intricate designs that matched the carvings on the tree's bark. Milo approached the box and gently lifted the lid. Inside, he found a scroll of parchment, old and fragile, but still legible. The scroll contained a message, written in a language that Milo could somehow understand. To the one who finds this, you are the chosen guardian of the Emerald Peaks. The stone you carry is a key to the ancient power of these mountains. Use it wisely, for it holds the secrets of the land and the balance of nature. Protect it, and it will protect you. Milo's heart raced as he realized the significance of the stone he had found. He was now the guardian of this magical place, entrusted with its secrets and its power. The responsibility was immense, but Milo felt a deep sense of purpose. He knew that his life would never be the same again. As he left the chamber and emerged from the tree, Milo felt a renewed sense of determination. The creatures of the forest gathered around him, as if acknowledging his new role. The mountains, the forest, and the creatures within were now under his protection, and Milo knew that he would do everything in his power to keep them safe. With the stone safely tucked away in his backpack, Milo began his journey back to the enchanted forest. The road ahead was long, but Milo felt a deep connection to the land, as if the mountains themselves were guiding his steps. The adventure had changed him, and he knew that he was now a part of something much larger than himself. As the sun began to set over the Emerald Peaks, Milo took one last look at the mountains before continuing on his way. The journey from the desert to the mountains had been filled with wonder and discovery, but it was only the beginning. Milo knew that many more adventures awaited him, and he was ready to face them, one step at a time.